I'm going to break down the Baylor softball roster for the 2026 season. Also will give my takes on what the ceiling and the floor for the team is in terms of the Big 12 and a national scale. Apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. It is a 25 player roster, and maybe there is a player or two that's redshirting due to injury. I don't know. So you got to keep that in mind. It is a much younger roster than last year, obviously. I mean, you only have like 4 seniors, and one of them's a grad senior, and 2 juniors. Everybody else is sophomores and freshmen. And how many sophomores in general? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sophomores, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 freshmen. It is a young team, but I think it has a bright future ahead of them. I really do. So, how many utility players, if you include like Abby Flores as just solely a utility player? So, one, two, three, four. Four of those. There are 5 pitchers, and they all bring different aspects to pitching. Glenn Moore said it on the coaches show last night. So if you want to get like a ground ball out of somebody, go with a certain pitcher, velocity, go with a different pitcher. You get the whole point. And they're all righties, by the way. So how many catchers, like technically there's 3 if you include Abby Flores as that part of that category. And as well, and it's not including Gianna Guzman, who can be a catchers as well. So really, technically 4, but you get the whole point. The depth is there. Now, in terms of the outfield, if you include Gianna Guzman, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 of those, and maybe those utility players could be outfielders as well. We have to wait and see, though. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 infielders as well. Obviously, there are some unknowns with some of those players. Example like Payne Tanner, she hadn't played a lot at Tennessee. Same thing goes for Cambry Krieger from Arizona State. So it's going to take maybe a little bit of time to get the rust off. But I think they have high upside. I do. And like I mentioned, like when they first committed to Baylor and all this too. And the Big 12 preseason poll did come out. Baylor's picked 8th. And not every school has this sport. You got to keep that in mind. And honestly, in terms of the Big 12, that to me is the floor, is 8th. I don't know about 9th. I don't know. And I know not every school is going to play Baylor. It's not the way the schedule looks like. And it's smart because you got to have some non-conference games as well. Now, in terms of the ceiling for the Big 12, I think 3rd is probably the best. Forget about 1st because that's takes to lose, honestly. And even 2nd, it might be pushing it too much as well because Oklahoma State and Arizona State, you would have to somehow like pass all those just to be 2nd in a conference. I think 3rd or 4th is more reasonable. I do think on a national scale, the best case scenario is like a regional team. I don't know about supers, but anything can happen once you get to regionals. After all, upsets can occur. Example like Liberty beat Texas A&M at Texas A&M and got to the super regionals. I'm just saying, even a few years ago, UCLA, a 2 seed, did not even make it out of the regionals. So I'm just saying, it is possible that they could somehow make it further. And we've seen those Cinderella runs in the past that like a lower seed team or unseeded team goes to the Women's College World Series as well. So there's always that too. And I will say they did add in like the Clemson Classic in terms of who the opponents are now. By the way, like Lipscomb, Coastal Carolina, Clemson, and as a TBD, obviously, we don't know who it is. So just got to keep that in mind. And a Campbell / Cartier Classic, San Diego State, Oregon State, Fordham, North Dakota State as well. So there is ample opportunity right there, especially early on when you get in game number 1. Literally 6 days from now, you get to play against a ranked Mississippi State team in the preseason poll. And Clemson is in the preseason poll, by the way. And you can check out the rest of the poll if you want to. Obviously, you should know, like, Oklahoma State's ranked. Obviously, Texas Tech is ranked. Arizona's ranked as well. But let me check on who, in terms of the, obviously Texas, they're gonna play. They're gonna be ranked. At the end of the day, though, it's not where you finish in the Big 12 that automatically gets you to the NCAAs. Because, example, Iowa State finished pretty high last year in the Big 12. They just didn't do enough in the non-conference. So that doesn't really matter in terms of the conference standings, especially if you don't win enough quality games. And even BYU had a better conference record than us last year, and it is still not making the NCAAs either. And so there's that as well. So in terms of the Big 12, they obviously play Iowa State. They're projected to be like one of the worst teams in the Big 12, I believe. Actually, a little bit higher than Baylor, like 7th. But that's not real. And the good news is you get that game at home. Obviously, you got to go on the road to Arizona, and that's tough. Then you got Houston, they're one of the very bottom team in the Big 12. That helps. And there's obviously Kansas. That's around the same area as Baylor. I mean, they're 9th. There's Utah, they're at the bottom. Oklahoma State is 2nd. Texas Tech's the top. So, as you could tell, they're going to avoid Arizona State and they actually play UCF as well on the road. So, yeah, they're avoiding BYU and Arizona State this year. I think avoiding Arizona State is helpful, and BYU as well. So really, there's more winnable series against, like, even I would say Oklahoma State could be winnable. Could be, but the thing is they're ranked. And then again, rankings don't mean anything. And you get that series at the very end of the year anyway at home. And obviously the Utah series is winnable. The Kansas one, even though it's on the road, it's winnable. Houston at home is winnable. Arizona's going to be tough because it's on the road. And UCF is a winnable series. They're preseason 5th, but it is on the road. So you get the point. As long as they do enough in the non-conference, I think they could go back to the NCAAs. And every time they had a down year in softball, the following year, they'd make the NCAAs anyway. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't make the NCAAs, but I do think they're going to build off of this year's team to go into next year. As long as they keep their key players that could return potentially back for another year, and obviously having a few seniors does help, and I surely would think they don't want to end their last year of eligibility on a bad note. They want to lead the team and try to find a way to go back to the NCAAs and leave the program in a better spot than they did a year ago with all those seniors. And I know last year had injuries, especially at pitcher, and the transfer portal hit them hard. At pitcher as well, like one late, especially like Aaliyah Benford. She left the program late and go to Ole Miss, and she started there at times at pitcher. So yeah, as of right now, they're healthy in terms of the pitching staff. Hopefully, it stays that way. And Glenn Moore did say they're going to take the approach of like baseball, like they have a starting pitcher, they go with the middle reliever, and there's obviously like a closer. So I don't expect a lot of games that are like one pitcher, that's it. I don't. Unless they really are in a position where they're going to run rule somebody like in 5 innings or 6 innings, maybe. Or it's a big enough lead, you could just keep them in. I don't know. We'll have to honestly wait and see what happens. I just thought I might as well go over it with the season coming around the corner. And there are, as long as they do enough in the non-conference and avoid bad losses and get some quality wins, they could make the NCAAs again. They could. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe, and see you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So my mind, of course, like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. Some more people see it, sharing the video does help as well. Some more people can watch, and if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well.